Back with another Call of Duty review. This is basically right now I'm doing a clip on basically this is my gameplay at Warzone. I think I was doing a plunder or something. I don't know. It's something plunder or Warzone, whatever. So I've talked already about the extensive of Black Ops 6, and I'm gonna talk about a little bit more about Black Ops 6. Like I said, I gave it a good standing rating out of 7 out of 10. And the reason I gave it a 7 out of 10 is, you know, first of all, the campaign was good, but the setting, how they did certain stuff was like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you know, people be like, yo, I Call of Duty, you don't know what the... First of all, they had the setting of Iraq, you know, the Gulf War. And they could have done a lot. They could have actually build upon this. But did they? They didn't build upon it. What they did instead was kind of use this as a time period, and that's where the game's at. Had nothing significant as far as like, oh, hey, how about we go ahead and, you know, have some missions or have some significant events be tied into the actual, you know, gameplay and the actual time period, you know, that would make it kind of come full circle. Like, for instance, Call of Duty Black Ops, the first one, actually, they had certain things that they actually pieced together and they tied in to with reality. Like, for instance, when you played the mission where there was an attack on Khe Sanh, attack on Khe Sanh and the Tet Offense, that actually really did happen. And that actually, they actually incorporated your gameplay tied in with those series of events. See what I mean? Black Ops 6, did they have it tied into anything? No, they didn't. And if you sit there and try to say, yeah, we did, yeah, it did so, you just don't know, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. The only thing they probably had tied into was the fact that in one mission where you go to Saddam's palace that they had, that you found some whole bunch of gold. That's it. That's the only significant part that you could say, yeah, maybe that's kind of what happened, you know. But at the same time, in reality, let's all be honest. They found that gold. In reality, what'd they do with it? No one will ever fucking know. It's basically the same simple as, how many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop? The world may never know. And that's what exactly happened to Saddam's gold. No one will ever know. And, you know, it is what it is. But that's just to break down just a little monotony about how this gameplay, how the campaign, and that's the reason why I said I gave it a 7 out of 10. It's good, but it ain't that damn good. It's not bad, but it ain't that damn bad. So let's just kind of put it in the context. Like, right now, like I'm pretty sure so. It was like, well, he's not even showing any goddamn clips of the freaking thing. Well, you know what? Go to some of my other reviews. Right now, I'm still steady doing a full-fledged review and gameplay of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, the newest series installment. If you know my thoughts about that, that's a good game, but that's for another video, and I'll kind of leave that later. But I want to focus here generally on to the Call of Duty Black Ops 6 campaign, and pretty much the story and everything. And like I said, for the time setting, they were in Iraq during the Gulf War in the early 90s, well, late 80s, early 90s, and they just didn't build upon it. They didn't Austrian. They, you know, like, oh, made it so secret. And then on top of that, everybody's like, oh, we love the aliens. Well, we love the zombie play in it. It was just great. Look, I don't know how to tell you, man, fuck them zombies, all right? I don't want zombies at all in a game that's supposed to be some type of attribute to reality. I don't want that. And they look, well, you don't understand. He was probably tripping and he was losing his mind, and the things he was thinking was some monsters and some fucked up shit. Like, yeah, okay, you can make that a little bit, but at the same time, you ain't gotta have it where you're fighting 4 goddamn creatures and you have to come up with a plan. Oh, how am I supposed to beat these motherfuckers? Alright, I've gotta devise a strategic plan in order war to whip their ass. No, I don't want to do that. I don't need to do that, and I shouldn't have to do that unless I'm playing in zombies mode, zombie gameplay. No, but that didn't happen. What I ended up getting was, oh no, you're gonna be hallucinating, and now you're playing as this guy, and they're done. Now, let's take a step back for a minute when we start talking about Call of Duty games. Why is it that typically typically the individual who's the main character, the main guy, doesn't have any dialect or talking, speaking roles at all? But in past Call of Duties, they usually have him or she talking. Like, you can actually talk, but they just don't have that character. Like, let's say Call of Duty. Let's see. Well, we're gonna back this up. Go to Call of Duty Black Ops. Mason was actually the first character that I can recall that actually had dialect talking roles where he talked. He actually said words. He let you know, I'm talking. You're playing as me, the character, and I got dialect and I'm talking to you, which was good. It made a sense of more realism. And then suddenly they decided to go off script and say, you're not talking to me. Even Black Ops 2, they did the same thing. Even Advanced Warfare, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, they had dialect talking. Hell, the one most hated Call of Duty video game that I hate the most, Call of Duty Infinity War, they had some type of dialect talk. But then when it gets to certain ones, it's like, yeah, you're fucking mute. You're not talking, you're not saying shit. I don't get it. Like, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, I thought it was a very good game. That's probably one of my favorite installments of the Call of Duty Black Ops series. But in this Black Ops Cold War, your character, Bell, you don't even have it speaking. All you do is go around asking questions. You don't ever hear his voice or her voice. You kind of just sit there and mute by just maybe writing shit down and then showing them, hey, answer this goddamn question. And they do the talking for you. Not really strong character development, because at the still same time, you're like, who the fuck are you? But you kind of wonder why the hell they went away from doing that. I don't know, beats me. Maybe they were cut back on the low budget of all the realism of the actual, graphics of the game, and they had to cut corners. And in adding just a little bit more dialect to it, where you had to get a voice actor to kind of portray the character and voice him over, just wasn't in the budget. So, I don't know. But it would have made huge gains. So then they go back to Call of Duty Black Ops 6. You play as the character Procrastinator. Oh, wow, not Procrastinator. Play the main character as Case. Case doesn't have any speaking lines at all. None. He just has dialect where he asks his questions to get him more information. And apparently, I guess it's like, I would say, on the abundance of, anybody know about the Charlie Brown, like wah 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 wah. Apparently, maybe that's what he's talking, and everybody else understands what he's saying, but you, the player, don't understand or don't get the chance to speak. So there's a few things that would be kind of strange in that aspect of how. Why they wouldn't have a character have a voice to talk, to explain, and create more depth in the fact of that character. And like I said, there's a couple of things with Black Ops 6 that I found very interesting and I found not interesting. Let's say they actually incorporated having, Helen Park back into, as a guest appearance. And I had explained that thoroughly, that Helen Park is kind of a guest appearance in Call of Duty Black Ops 6. But if she's like there, she's just there because the British, they plan on going ahead and just, you know, they they plan on blowing up some missile shit, but they don't want to give a damn about your plan because they plan on utilizing. But for that factor, I just don't think, the British and the SA, they were pretty much just trying to do their own shit, and they really didn't give a damn about helping out the Americans. Kind of the colonel or whoever was the commander kind of seemed like he had a thumb up his ass and really was kind of angry that he had to help. But then he was like, you know what, I can utilize them when I can. You help me, I get your back, you help me. That kind of type deal. And plus they were just in the desert. And you know what, they could have incorporated maybe a major scene battle. They had a tank battle because, matter of fact, in the history books, the Gulf War was the last huge tank battles of this generation, of this era, since dating back to the Korean World War II. Like, the Gulf War had the last great tank battles. Could have incorporated something like that into the setting of the Gulf War, but did they do any of that? No, they didn't do a damn thing. They decided to do their own shit and make their own way for what they felt would be necessary to follow a story that, frankly, I say fell a little bit under the wayside. I mean, it was almost, you got a bunch of rogue, let's see, you got a bunch of rogue tier 1 guys somehow being funded by a black budget book off the record, and no one knows about it except for a very few select individuals, but apparently they got enough funding and enough manpower and enough cred to where no one takes notice at this, not even the highest echelon of the, certain governments. That's a bunch of malarkey if I've ever heard. They're all so secretive that they just don't know what the hell's going on. They're highly unlikely. I mean, the game does have good key points and good missions, and so to speak. It's just how the story was brought about, doing things and transpiring. I felt, in honesty, that this could have done a little bit more. But did they do more? Absolutely fucking not. And like I said, toward the end of this game, when you end up playing as Jane Harrow, when they're doing their, so-called MK Ultra type of, hallucination, trying to get her to talk and reveal, all this stuff. I thought it was cool as far as they were trying to show as to try to piece the mirror back together to get more information out of her and to discover things that she didn't or she had hidden away. But at the same time, let's be honest, it seemed like a goddamn terrifying nightmare that she was involved in, and the whole thing and everything about that whole series where you had to come up with the clues and hints, and then on top of that where you had to go find the certain pieces, and literally it was dark. You turn around and there's a zombie of her right there trying to attack your ass. Like, it literally turned into a horror fest. Like, you don't want to play that game with the lights off, technically. That I felt was like, okay, I think Call of Duty has mixed in zombies into its campaign, like basically into a story mode. That's why I talked about when you have to find the 4 key cards and you face those 4 monsters or the hallucination or zombies, whatever. It just gets crazy, and you're like, all right. I think they kind of spawned that off as far as Call of Duty Black Ops 3, and they felt maybe toward the end of the game they could have got away with it, and they're like, oh, we'll just add this here. They liked it. They like zombies. Let's keep it going. Well, not everybody feels the same way about zombies as you do. So, I mean, I could go on, and I'm probably going to go on a little bit more and talk about more in depth about how Call of Duty Black Ops 6 had much more promise than what we really got. I don't think it was a quick money grab. I think they orchestrated to try to want to make a really, really good game and a great game for the players to enjoy. But somewhere along the way, things didn't go as the way they kind of anticipated. That's why I gave this game a solid 7 out of 10. But in the meantime, definitely, I gotta go get onto this. I'm doing a review and commentary on gameplay on Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, the new series. Now, some of you guys say that game is horrible, I played it through, and I like it. People say that the game is horrible. I think it's one of those hidden gems that if you don't understand it and you just kind of figure whatever, because you're looking for something entirely different, entirely new, which, by the way, being as gamers, you like to find something entirely different and new, but not always going to happen that way. So you kind of have to take the good and the bad and stop anticipating and expecting more shit than you're asking for. Stop being spoiled little brats and enjoy the goodness while you have it. So I thought the game was pretty good. Vanguard is another one of my favorites, basically because many people don't understand the whole complexity behind Call of Duty Vanguard, and they're like, "Oh, the story was terrible. Oh, it was just horrible all the time." No, it was basically a group of misfits that were all on apparently suicide mission, and as they're on a suicide mission, they weren't supposed to make it. That's flat out in the entirety. You want to know the secrets? You want to know the reason why on the whole thing? They were a bunch of misfits that were put on a mission, and they were pretty much said, do this mission or else, and if you don't survive, guess what? We didn't lose anything. But too many people says, I didn't understand the part, I didn't understand the whole entire makeup or the whole storyline of the, Call of Duty Vanguard. It just didn't make it. No, you just didn't understand pure common sense. Alright? Just like many people didn't understand the common sense to Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, the new installment. It wasn't like the old one where it was just a whole full World War 3 happening. No. That one, in a sense, I like that one. Why? Because many people didn't understand that either. So, you once again have to say, where's the thought process in that? And then people are so up in arms with the new installment of the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 because Soap got killed off, and they're like, well, you killed off. Well, if you not realize that in the old installment of the old series, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Gaz got his in the first series. There was a couple of the guys. Gaz got his. The character you played, Roach and Ghost, got theirs in the second Modern Warfare. And then on the third one, Soap got his, Yuri got his, and the only person that actually survived all of it was actually Captain Price. But we're crying over the third installment of the new series of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 because Soap got his, and they're like, oh, I can't believe Soap was a beloved character. But you're not looking back at the fact that everybody in the old series got theirs, and then except the only person to live out of it was Captain Price. So, like I said, what are you talking about, and what is people crying over spilt milk? They tend to forget that. But I'm not going to keep running my gums, but definitely I'm going to be doing another game. I'm doing a gameplay on Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 with the commentary to explain what my thoughts and feels on it and what's going on in it. And I'm keeping it generally an honest opinion on how it is. And if you don't like it, I'm sorry. I don't know what else to tell you. But I hope you do like it. So, we'll leave it at that. So, always be sure to like, subscribe, share, and tell your other fellow gamers and game friends also about it. And, if you have something, comment, and we can talk. So, you're here on the coolest of the cool, the Cooley Cool Show. See you.